Before this story begins, let me ask you something. What if someone promised to save an entire village, but the price was unborn children? At first, it sounds impossible. But this Indonesian horror movie is inspired by a real event from 1966, making everything even more disturbing. In today's story, a young woman follows the man she loves to a remote village, believing she's there for a simple abortion. But she soon realizes she has been brought there as a sacrifice for an ancient demonic ritual. The deeper she goes, the darker the truth becomes. At the beginning of the movie, we are shown Indonesia's Ronggas Puna village, where a drought had occurred in 1965. 1 year later, a woman arrives in the village, who promised everyone that she would make the village prosperous and green once again. However, for this, she demanded the sacrifice of unborn children, in other words, unborn fetuses. Most of the people had left that village, but the chosen few who had stayed behind kept giving sacrifices to that lady. After that, the story shifts toward June 6, 1989, as nearly 23 years had passed. At that moment, we see a couple inside the village, and both of them had come to sacrifice their fetus. Only a few people were left inside the entire village, like this couple who had come to perform the sacrifice. A lady whose name is Rini and her son Guna. The scene cuts to a glimpse of that lady, who used to take the sacrifice of the fetuses, and this lady's name is Nai Ito. It turns out, Rini used to help Nai Ito. Shortly after, Rini and Nai Ito perform a ritual, after which the fetus of the lady, who had come to give the sacrifice, suddenly disappears on its own. Afterward, that lady goes outside, without even experiencing any pain. Guna, who was sitting outside, peeks inside from a distance and sees a demonic entity. Nai Ito is shown drinking the blood of the fetus. Clearly, she was no ordinary woman. Moving on, the scene shifts, and we see a model, Veda, and her photographer Baguz. Veda was cleaning off her makeup after a photo shoot when her friend comes to her. She tells her that Veda has been offered a movie role in Jakarta, so the two of them plan to spend a week in Jakarta. This was scheduled for just 2 days later, because it would be Veda's birthday. Veda was very happy to hear this, but Baguz appears to be troubled. Suddenly, Veda feels strange and goes straight to the toilet. She was vomiting because she was pregnant. After the photo shoot, Baguz and Veda were going to their house in a car, and Veda was very scared of her pregnancy. In the meantime, a black cat comes under their car. But when Baguz gets out to look, there was nothing there. However, a demonic figure appears behind the car. It was obvious that something wasn't right. Later, Baguz and Veda come to their house, and we learn that Baguz and Veda are actually in a relationship, a secret that nobody knew about, and that child belonged to Baguz as well. Veda wanted to keep the child, but Baguz convinces her to have an abortion by bringing up professional life, parents, and society. Because of this, Baguz was going to take Veda to his village, and Veda agrees to this too. Meanwhile, the same demonic figure appears once again. The next day, Veda was getting cramps because her pregnancy was 3 months along. Right then, she hears some noise from the kitchen, but nobody was there. Before long, the phone starts ringing, and a girl who was covered in blood was screaming at Veda, calling her mom, which makes Veda wake up instantly. In reality, Veda and Baguz were on a bus, having already left for the village, and this was just her nightmare. Moments later, that same girl is on the seat next to Veda, and seeing her suddenly, Veda wakes up and starts screaming. It was a dream inside another dream. Within a short time, both of them reached the stop of Baguz's village. But the driver asks him if he is sure that this is the village where they need to go, shortly before driving the bus away from there. From here, Baguz and Veda start walking, and Veda begins to feel that someone was following them. In reality, it was that same demonic figure. While walking, morning arrives for both of them, and Baguz's village was also in the middle of the jungle. Animal bones were hanging at the main entrance of the village, which was the exact same village that was shown to us at the beginning. This was Baguz's hometown. Before entering, Baguz performs some kind of ritual, and the two of them enter the village. The next strange thing happens when Baguz suddenly proposes to Veda. He puts a ring on her finger, which feels completely out of place considering everything that's happening. Shortly afterward, he takes her to his house. On the way, they run into the same couple we saw at the beginning of the movie. The man pulls Baguz aside to talk privately, while the woman tells Veda that she won't feel any pain and will soon receive a blessing. Hearing this, Veda gets a little confused. She does not understand what she was talking about. But obviously, The talk here was going on about the abortion. The abortion could have easily happened in a hospital inside the city. But why did Bagooz bring Veda here to the village? That was the real mystery. Veda was also completely blind in love, refusing to even ask why Bagooz was taking her right there. A short while later, Bagooz arrives there, and he takes Veda to Rini's house, where Veda sees Guna again. Rini doesn't allow Bagooz inside, so he tells Veda to stay there until the following evening and follow Rini's instructions. After that, Bagooz leaves, and Veda and Rini start talking. Through the conversation, we find out that Rini's husband is in the city and works there. Later, Rini shows Veda her room, before going to do her work. Meanwhile, Veda rests in her room, while outside we see a man named Jaka, who was also living in the same village. He was filling water, which was quite dirty. Suddenly, inside we see that same demonic figure, which was outside Veda's room. Veda was also hearing some noise from outside, so she goes outside to check the noise, only to find a utensil fallen down. Moments later, she hears a noise from the kitchen, but nobody was there either. But as soon as Veda turns back, Guna was standing behind her. As she goes near Guna, something starts happening to him. His eyes turned white, and he starts having epileptic seizures. Seeing all this, Veda starts screaming, and then Rini arrives there. She brings Guna back to consciousness, explaining to Veda that Guna is different from others. He cannot speak, prompting Rini to take Guna away with her. Basically, he was a child with special needs. Soon, Veda comes outside, and she meets Bagooz, who tells her that there is no need for her to be scared, everything will be fine, and after that he leaves from there. Then Veda draws water out of the well to drink, but this time the water was clean. Afterward, Rini tells Veda to take a bath, but instead of using soap, she tells Veda to bathe with mud, and Veda was doing exactly that. When Veda comes inside after bathing, she finds Guna there. She goes near him, and Guna hands her his mud doll. Just then Guna and Rini come from behind over there, and when Veda looks, there was nobody in front of her. Later, Veda sits in her room, holding that doll, and starts thinking whether what she had seen was real or just a hallucination. Suddenly, she starts vomiting, and she vomits out of the window. Outside she sees Guna, and Veda runs outside behind him, when she starts having hallucinations again, getting a lot of visions. She was seeing Guna everywhere, when suddenly, she sees a man wearing a pig mask and covered in blood, and after that Veda faints. Upon regaining consciousness, Guna was in front of her, and here she finds out that Guna cannot speak. I had already figured that out earlier and I already told you, but Veda found out this fact just now. She sees that she had come far away from the house, and right then Guna picks up his doll and runs away from there. Veda sees a very huge statue there, which looked like some kind of god, when suddenly she hears a lady's voice, and this voice belonged to Nai Ito, who was calling Veda to come to her. She was also saying that Veda will receive blessings very soon. Then Nai Ito tells Jaka that all the preparations for the ritual should be done as quickly as possible, because they are going to perform that ritual today itself. It also happened to be Veda's birthday, making her become a little sad. On the other side, Bagooz goes to Rini, and then we find out a very shocking thing, that Bagooz is actually Rini's husband who had gone to the city. He had gone to the city for one reason, to bring back a sacrifice. Basically, he got Veda pregnant, so that he could give the sacrifice of her fetus here for the good of the village. Finally, Bagooz had returned with the sacrifice in the form of Veda, doing all this for Rini and Guna, that is what he claimed. At that moment, Veda arrives there, so Rini takes Guna and goes inside. Going inside, Bagooz tells Rini that Nai Ito thinks Veda is special, and with the sacrifice of Veda's child, everything will become fine. But outside, Veda was telling Bagooz that she will not be able to do this, so Bagooz convinces her once again. When Jaka looks at the water, it is completely clean. In other words, ever since Veda has arrived, something or the other was definitely special here. Soon, Rini starts preparing Veda for the ritual, and on the other side, Bagooz goes to Nai Ito. He tells her that he kept his promise. Now it is her turn. Then Nai Ito and Bagooz become intimate. In other words, over here Nai Ito used to become intimate with men as well. Or it could be that they had some special deal here, or it could also be that Bagooz was double-crossing both Rini and Veda for physical intimacy. After that, Rini asks Veda whether she really wants to do this. So she says yes, she will do this for Bagooz. Then Bagooz comes to Rini, and he says that he is doing all this to make Guna well. And whatever talk was happening between the two of them, Veda overhears it, and she finds out that Baguz is married. Because of this, she starts running away from there, because she had been betrayed, and she did not trust Baguz anymore. He tries to stop her and says that she cannot leave from there. But Veda starts running to escape from him, and as soon as she crosses the village gate, right then some invisible power makes her faint right there. And she was getting strange hallucinations, in which she was seeing herself coming out of her own stomach. So it could be that perhaps the child in her stomach is a girl. Under the ritual's influence, Veda's body begins moving on its own, eventually leading everyone to Nai Ito's house. Probably there was definitely some demonic energy here, because whatever was happening here was not normal at all. There, Nai Ito begins performing the same ritual she carried out at the beginning of the movie. But someone was repeatedly telling Veda not to let this happen, who could perhaps be her unborn child or could be her consciousness. Right then, for some moments, Veda regains consciousness, and she bites Nai Ito, and then starts running away from there. After Veda runs away, Jaka comes to Nai Ito, and he sees black smoke coming out of Nai Ito's hand. He understands that Nai Ito is actually under demonic possession, or is a demon herself. This means Nai Ito was under the possession of a demon, or this demon itself had come inside this village, for the sole purpose of feeding upon unborn fetuses here. It was never her intention that she would keep the village well. Meanwhile, Guna had run and reached near that same statue, and Rini goes behind him too. Guna was trying to explain something to Rini there, but Rini cannot understand what he wants to say. And right then we see that he was pointing towards something that was buried near that very statue. Meanwhile, Baguz had caught Veda, but Veda pushes Baguz and runs away from there. At the house, Rini tells Guna that everything will be fine, and then she goes outside to look for Veda. Ultimately, she also wanted her son to be well, even though deep inside, she also knew that whatever was happening was wrong. On the other side, Jaka catches Veda, but he tells Veda that he will help her, because he has found out that all this was happening because of Nai Ito. Then Baguz and Rini arrive there too. When Jaka tries to explain the whole matter to Baguz, he does not listen to a single word of his and moves forward to catch Veda. But right then, Jaka hits Baguz and knocks him unconscious, and then he takes Veda with him. Then he starts digging the ground, and explains that the ritual of bathing with mud that Veda did, and the ring Baguz made her wear, and I had said before that there was some issue with the ring. Jaka explains that because of both these things, Veda is now connected to this village. And if she wants to get out of there, she will have to kill Nai Ito. This was the reason why she can't leave the village and was facing trouble. Those visions kept appearing because Veda was completely connected to the village, and couldn't leave no matter how hard she tried. And now, to finish Nai Ito, Veda will have to eat that chicken's heart, which she had buried near that statue during the ritual. Because when Nai Ito was performing the ritual, she became connected to that heart, and if the heart is destroyed, Nai Ito will die as well. Then he digs the ground and gives Veda a weapon, and he says that Nai Ito can be killed with only that. Meanwhile, Nai Ito calls Rini and Baguz to her, and she tells them to go quickly and catch Veda and bring her back. Then she draws blood from her hand, out of which a black-colored demonic figure comes out and goes away. Before Jaka could finish explaining how they can kill Nai Ito, she kills him instead. At that moment, she drops the same cage upon Jaka which was in the ritual. Then Baguz comes from behind, who knocks Veda unconscious and starts taking her to Nai Ito. And Nai Ito takes that weapon away from Veda, as well which Jaka had given her. We also learn that many years ago, Baguz's dad had also tried to kill Nai Ito with that same weapon. So could that person in the pig mask, who was covered in blood, be Baguz's father here, who was probably visible to Veda in her visions here? As the story continues, Nai Ito starts the ritual without wasting time, and Rini soon finds out that the ritual Nai Ito is performing wasn't an ordinary abortion ritual. Because something starts happening to Guna, Rini tries hard to explain to Baguz, but when Baguz does not understand, Rini herself picks up that weapon and starts attacking Nai Ito. It seems like after sleeping with Nai Ito, Baguz had fallen under her control. He had become completely crazy. The attack weakens Nai Ito. Then Baguz starts strangling Rini, and he had almost killed Rini, but Guna frees Veda just in time. And Veda comes and stabs Baguz in the neck with a knife, killing him. Soon afterward, Guna takes both of them with him to that statue, and then he tells Veda to dig there. But we see that Nai Ito was still not killed, and she reaches that statue behind Rini and Veda, because she could not let this happen under any circumstances. But now her hair had turned white, her powers had grown weak, and we are able to see her real form. Meanwhile, Rini fights Nai Ito. Despite being up against a powerful demon, she refuses to let Nai Ito get anywhere near Veda. And Veda had also managed to eat that heart somehow, and then Nai Ito is killed, and that demon also exits from her body. This proves that Nai Ito was also a victim, and there was a demon inside her that had brought her inside the village, so that it could hunt a lot of unborn fetuses and increase its power, because by coming inside a dying village and making false promises, people's emotions could easily be exploited. Rini was so badly injured that she was taking her final breaths, and she asks Veda to take care of Guna, handing over his responsibility to her, after which she died. 6 months later, Guna is living with Veda. Veda is now 9 months pregnant, and her delivery could happen at any moment. She had come to the hospital to get a checkup done. Another couple had also come there. That couple were very big fans of Veda, so they take Veda's autograph. But when they ask about Veda's husband, she becomes very sad. Then that couple's son comes and starts talking to Guna, and in the entire movie, Guna speaks something for the first time. This suggests that Nai Ito's promise may have come true, allowing Guna to speak. After this, we are able to see a post-credit scene inside which that same man whom we saw at the beginning of the movie starts burying something under that statue. After which that demon had come back inside that same village. And now it is possible that perhaps this demon will possess this man, and the custom that had been going on until now will continue. That brings the movie to an end. So friends, this was the story of the film Jabang Village, Diseased Ritual of the Dead. I hope you enjoyed the movie. It's based on a true story from 1966, which makes it even more disturbing. As I explained earlier, the demon's only goal was to feed on unborn fetuses so it could stay young and grow even stronger. That is why it had not fixed the village for so many years, because the real motive of the demon was to get a new body and nothing else. As for the rest, if there is any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. So I will meet you all with the next video. Until then, stay safe.